Hello, my name is Kendall Grady, and welcome to Kendall's Corner Volume 2, where we're discussing in more depth and detail some of the nuances to upper string and violin technique. Today, I wanted to talk to you about some elements regarding both the left and the right hand that have to do with vibrato, our joints, and articulation. When I talk about joints, I do want to mention that it's most common practice to make sure that nothing is pressing upon your joints. So when you're holding the bow, I don't like the idea of having the bow on this joint exactly because it often locks the joint. But again, going between the two joints is quite fine, and it combines different types of styles like romantic Russian playing versus German playing, etc. But I try to avoid having any direct contact for a sustained period of time on my joints on any of my hands, the right or the left. With my left hand, you'll notice that the violin never sits on top of or hurting this joint here. It kind of sits more in between the two. And when I'm playing, I realize that it allows my vibrato to be a little more free. So when I'm practicing my vibrato, when it comes to the joints, I notice that I have the ability to go back behind the note and to the note, back behind the note and to the note, within all of my joints, whether that be the larger flow coming from the elbow in a more arm vibrato, the shorter flow coming from my wrist and going all the way up through my fingertips, or just focusing on these tiny joints when it comes to finger vibrato. I think it's interesting to know that articulation and vibrato need to be coordinated. I've spoken in a previous video about the articulation of the left hand. There's articulation, I feel, in the right hand as well when we pinch with our first finger, or we give more ebb and flow by using many smoother operating joints, right? But with the left hand, we often talk about articulation in the up or down motion. So if we really want an articulated note, having the finger come up and down quite harsh and quite long in terms of how high it's going, or staying closer to the finger and maybe playing with a fatter part of the finger pad. So in these ways, I practice figuring out if a passage should be more articulated in my left hand, in my right hand, with my pinching and whatnot, or if I need to balance that with the motions of the vibrato. And that takes a lot of time. I do find that if I have more arm vibrato, my left hand articulation will be a little less. Because I'm not trying to destroy the line, right? I'm not trying to disrupt the line. But wrist vibrato allows me to have a little more articulation. And another thing to add is we need articulation going down the same way that we need articulation going up. So the going down, the hammering of the notes, we might need to pull back the finger into the air with the same velocity, with the same type of articulation. And all that needs to be worked out by balancing the left and right hand and with vibrato. So I hope that that gives you a little picture into the more nuanced details of the way that we use our fingers in our violin playing, and in our upper string playing. Some people have always joked with me that we are the masters of fine motor skills. So what we do, especially in our fingers, is very small and very nuanced, but means a lot, especially when we are trying to get something across to audiences. So until next time, keep your hearts light, your chops up. Bye-bye for now.